All right, everybody, let's go ahead and do our weekly review. So I'm going to be covering the 24th through the 28th of April here. And the first thing we'll start with is, first of all, it's been a great week. It's been a little crazy week, and you can see that just by looking at this weekly candle that we have right here. And I'll go over that here shortly. So our agenda right now is going to go over the ES futures, kind of what's happened so far. And again, ES futures, because this is what I use to run my portfolio. If I'm looking for the ES futures to move to the upside, then I'll be net long in my portfolio. If I'm looking for it to go to the downside, I'll have some longs, but I'll also intraday be shorting and so forth. And then I want to go over the review of the neutral strategy with you. And then third, I would like to do a review of my best and worst trades, but really what we'll do is we'll open up the alerts that are coming straight from my API and we'll go over those. And I jotted down notes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and even today. And I want to be able to cover those with you. So bear with me. This is only our second week doing this, so I'm a little slow at it, but I promise it will get smoother. It will get faster. And always, please give me feedback. If you want to see something else in here, please say so. Now, I want to start off also by letting you know I don't do spreadsheets, folks. These alerts are coming straight from my Thinkorswim account, straight to you, so you get to see exactly what I trade. Now, the only trades that don't show up are the future trades, okay? But again, we teach you that strategy. We tell you, we talk audio, we speak it 30 minutes before the open, and then we always start with the ES futures in the morning, okay? But far as everything else, it's coming straight from the API itself, okay? So if you ever want to look at the history of the trades, just scroll through there. It's exactly what I'm trading. Let's go ahead and start with the ES futures from the week. So what are we looking at so far? So we came down into the support level, the same support level that we drew several weeks ago. Matter of fact, it's probably about a month now, if not longer. Price did pull back into that area. We have pushed up. The bulls are definitely saying, hey, we want to hold this support level that Trendy put on here, right? Well, it's not just made up of anything. If we go over here and we take a look at the pivot low, and we were to come in here and measure from our Fibonacci's to the high side, you would see that it's right above the 38.2. And the reason why I use this level is if you look closely, there's a wick hiding right there. And I went ahead and went with that wick, okay? So that way you kind of understand where that level came from far as, you know, my blueprint is concerned, all right? Okay, so now where is it going? And I want to bring this up while we're on the subject. So I think a lot of traders, when they first start learning supply and demand, they start getting a little confused. They're like, yeah, John, but there's a red box there. Should I go short? And the answer is no. We're holding inside the red box. We're above the cloud. And we want to stay long in here as long as we could stay above the 41.37. What I'm looking for, and we still have about 2 hours and 45 minutes before the market closes. I would like to see if the weekly can actually close on an inside and up formation. This is your, let's go ahead and do a blue dot here. That's your inside candle. This is your initial candle, and this guy right here is trying to go inside and up. Now you see that blue dotted line there? That is an automated trendy edge, and basically it identifies supply on a much higher time frame, and it's a ballpark figure. It doesn't have to be exact. And you could see that we have not closed over this level since January of this year. Okay, so this is a big deal. If we close above here, okay, and we can sustain above here on an inside and up formation, that's a big deal. Now, again, we are above the cloud. We are rounding out. And so for right now, it looks bullish, folks. And matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if we try to come up here and test this 41.97. Now, this is a look back into this past week. So I don't want to talk too much about where I think price is going at this very moment. Like I said, we have about 2 hours and 45 minutes left in the market. The next thing that I would like to do is go ahead and go over with you the neutral strategy. So the neutral strategy, this one was pretty fun. All right, and we'll go over this and you'll see this in my alerts here a little bit later. Well, if you listen in and you understand how to trade this, we know that we don't go long over SPY unless it breaks above the green level. All right, unless you're trading from the lower levels. Remember, the lower levels are support until proven otherwise. Matter of fact, you get the trigger to go short here. You can see you could short into 407.84, and then you finally got target 2 at 405.15. The market liked what it saw in earnings, so it went ahead and picked up from there. And then obviously it gets above the cloud. It starts to move even harder. It dips back to the cloud, and now we're pushing above the 414 level and trying to get into that T1 around 415.70. Over here on the QQQ, I personally traded this. I traded it in the neutral. I bought on the dips. I bought on the dips. I bought on the dips. And then right up in here, I started to trim. And lo and behold, it really took off. And this would have been a really awesome trade to showcase. But just like any other trader, I got a little fearful going into some earnings, so I went ahead and closed when it came back up in here. And then, of course, some good earnings hit, and then this thing exploded. Not only did this give you the opportunity to go short below the neutral into T1, but it gave you the opportunity to go long above 317 into 318, 320, and 321. And just really quick while we're looking at these numbers, I think this is kind of funny. It looks like it's moved a lot, but honestly, the compression, we don't have a big range in price right now. And so 317 to 321 looks really big. But comparatively to the past and volatile times, this is kind of a small move. All right, so you can see today it feels like it's really up, but the SPY is only up about $3 and the Qs are up about $1.26 at the moment. Either way, looking over this, you can see how important these levels are and how well they have worked so far. Let's go ahead and move on. We're going to go into the alerts themselves, okay? So we are going to start with the 24th, which is going to be the beginning of this week that I want to cover, okay? So give me just a second as we scroll and find these alerts, and then I would like to go over these with you. All right, so here we go. We're going to go into the 24th. I'm going to pop these up right here. And let's just concentrate. I'm going to draw arrows, and I'm going to try to talk you through these. Now, Monday, these are my notes. QQQ and the neutral strategy. I started buying into these, and I wanted to stay in them as long as the neutral held. Now, it did break down below the neutral. And I went against myself right there and said, okay, I'm going to give it a little bit more time. It felt a little extended to the downside. There was a lot of separation between price and the EMA, and I remember seeing that. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to continue adding into the trade. So you can see here, I bought, I added, I got into some Google at 238. QQQs started coming up. I went ahead and trimmed a little bit. Tesla, I went ahead and I went short, okay, at 240. Over here, QQQ is dropping. You could see that, so I added once again. HD, I go to sell short equity, okay, so I went short on equity. So the market's moving down, okay. SPX, right here, I'm looking at doing a vertical net credit, so I do it for 250. And so basically I sold some credit, some put credit spreads here. HD, it's a break-even trade. You can see that because it's only 3 pennies. So if I shorted 100 shares, I didn't make anything. It was basically break-even. Okay, so the market started coming back up. I cover the put credits. I covered early. It's okay. It's 22%. But overall, I think this actually went 100%. So it was a great trade. It's just that I covered early. So those would be the notes that I do there. Let's see. Melissa comes in. She does some calls at $1.20. She starts trimming pretty quickly at 6 and 14%. SPX, I come in with a butterfly, it looks like. And this butterfly, if you notice, is 5 wide. All right. And remember, on SPX, whatever I use as the price, meaning $35 in this case, that's my risk. I'm okay if they go to 0. That's the way that I like to trade the SPX unless I annotate differently. Moving on down, Melissa decides, hey, I think I'm going to follow that up. She only spent $25 as well. You can see she just did a quantity of 1. As we move on down, SPY on her calls, she goes ahead and she is she's still in those trades and she's trimming for 15%, and then she closes out at 10%. So it looks like, things weren't really going in her favor as much as she wanted, so she was a good steward of her money and managed that very nicely. QQQ, we start moving up after, if you notice here at 3:28 p.m., the market has closed here where I am in Central Time. So it closes, so I'm doing, I'm getting out at $1.13, and this was after some earnings, I believe. Let me see here, 3:28. This is the 25th. Yes, this was after hours. So we made a little bit of money there. And then Google, the next day, I go ahead and I trim that for 10%. And then on the remaining, I get out at 9%. And you can see, guys, you could do the easy math here between the two. It's basically a break-even trade. Ford, I go ahead and add. I was over in the free room demonstrating my alerts there at Simpler. And I was showcasing them and showing how well they do and how fast they are. And then over here, you start to notice that I'm starting to get in some long-term swings. BABA is included at 232. You guys know of that. Tesla down here, it looks like Melissa is jumping into some calls at 211. And I remember this day, not funny, but kind of funny. She was really pumped up and she trimmed at 12.8. Well, she said she had trimmed and she said, hey, my next target is so-and-so. And then I said, Melissa, it looks like you only bought one and you already closed. Bummer. So the next one, it did hit her target. Unfortunately, she was already out. Moving on down, Melissa then decides to get into Apple. And again, this is on Tuesday. She's looking at going long. And then here on SPY, she's looking to go long. Apple, she gets stopped out at 18%. SPY, she gets stopped out at 34%. So you can tell right away that the market decided, hey, we're not going long. F, I went ahead and added to my equity trade. PSTG, she's adding into her trade at 60 cents. Okay, this is a swing trade that she's in. QQQ, I'm adding again. All right, QQQ, I'm trimming, I'm trimming, I'm trimming, and then finally I'm out. Okay, and you guys can see that at 36 cents, but we did make some money to the upside there. Now on Amazon, I buy to open some 110 calls. This is right before earnings, about 2 days before. I buy at $1.98. I trim at 217. All right, and then over here on the put side, I'm trimming on Tesla at 12.5%, and then a trailing stop, as you can see right here, trailing stop, I get out at 33%. SPX, I'm buying. This time, I'm feeling a little bit better about the move to the upside. So if you notice, what I do is I come in a little bit wider. It's a 10-point spread instead of a 5-point. Okay, and that's going to allow me to capture a little bit more premium on the upside if I'm correct. I can get out of the trade a lot quicker. Okay. On SPY, it looks like Melissa comes down here. She puts on the put trades at $1.20 in this section. Now I'm long, Melissa's short. And so this could be confusing here. And so this is, feedback. Her and I are always talking to each other. And so I reach out. I'm saying, hey, I remember this day specifically. We shorted futures perfectly into target, and then I wanted to be long. And so we discussed this back and forth. I don't think this ended up working out for Melissa on this trade. AMD, she jumps in on the call side. And you can see what she paid there. And then SPX, I end up closing. I believe we closed right up at the top. I know that some of you guys got out for $2 and some change. I got out for 138%. So that was a nice trade. AMD starts working for Melissa. She starts trimming at 13%. She jumps into BA at $1.60. Her SPY, she gets stopped out at 58%. The market continues to push to the upside. She was in puts. AMD stop. She gets out right around break even. SPX, I'm jumping back in. These are 5-point wide at 35 cents. And this is probably towards the end of the day, and you can see that it's around lunch or towards the end of the day. She adds to her BA at $1.07. SPX, trying to think right here what happened. Let's see. This was just a straight up call. Oh, I know what I did. I apologize. I bought back the body and looked to see if that SPX could continue to run to the upside. I believe it did not. Here on Tesla, we're going to get into puts again. So I went ahead and bought those. You can see that I start to trim at 12%, 22%, 43%. Amazon, I'm going to go ahead, and what I did was I turned my calls into a call debit. So I sold, sell to open, I sold a call against my long because we were going into, I want to say it was Google or somebody was reporting. So I just wanted to be careful going into the night. Amazon then ended up gapping up the next day. All right. Microsoft, I jump in at 50 cents. Tesla, we end up closing the puts at 87%. Meta down here. This was a long-term trade that we started probably a month and a half ago or so in the simpler options room. This was a great trade. It worked out perfectly. I was targeting 230 by 240. I bought too much time, but that's okay. But these went from 2 to about 567. And you can see that was executed and closed. So wonderful job on that trade as well. So you can swing trade in this market. You just have to layer in and trade off your levels and follow the overall trend. T-Doc, I went ahead this week and started some long terms. This is a starter position, guys. I would like to at least get this up to about 2% of my account. And right now it's roughly 0.02 and a half, 1.05% of my account. So we got a little ways for building if needed, and this is out until July. Microsoft, I went ahead and trimmed at 8%, 30%, 40. And then right here on the, this is yesterday. Looks like Melissa starts going long at $1.20. I end up getting out of Microsoft at 106%. And then we're going to go ahead and move down here. I'm like, hey, man, Microsoft is really treating us well. I get back in. All right. Get back in. Well, Melissa's BAs start to come back to life. She starts trimming. Things are going well. Her SPY is coming into profit. She trims 17, 35%. Microsoft, I'm closing again at 43%. HD, I go in at 210 on some spreads. I bought too much time because it ended up working out really, really well. And we'll go over that here in a second. SPY, she gets stopped out. Good manager of her money there. BA, she added again. And I guess so BA's coming back down, and she's like, she's filling it. So she adds, okay. Amazon for me, what I ended up doing when I bought back the debit, when I sold the call, I made that a debit spread. That debit spread was about 50 cents. I ended up selling for 90 cents. Okay. So we made profits on Amazon as well. Good trade. We closed before earnings. I decided not to go into earnings. And honestly, I'm pretty pumped that I didn't because it just would have got me super excited and ended up doing nothing. It hit our target and then came right back down. Moving on down here, you could see that plug finally came alive. We've been adding into this one. This is a very very long-term trade. If you look right here and look at the date, folks, you can see that we are January 19, 2024. It is 2023, so you know we're quite some time out. I've been adding into this trade, so I'm just kind of like trading around the position, if you will. And our overall cost basis is about 67, 68 cents, somewhere in there. BA, she starts trimming again at 16%. HD, guys, this is yesterday I went ahead and trimmed at $2.46 or 17%. BA, she's trimming again at 44, 52%. So those ads are starting to help her a little bit. I don't know at this point if her overall position ended up going positive or not. I would have to ask and reach out, but you're more than welcome to ask her as well. Down here, moving on, Amazon, she decides to take a lotto into earnings. And Melissa doesn't do this a whole lot. I would say probably 2% of the time. And I have to say I was super excited for her because price had jumped up to 121. But as I said, Amazon ended up coming all the way back down. And so something they said, you know, on the report or whatever, decided that wasn't going to work out. But she knew that. She knew what her risk was. She put $100 on it. She did one contract, and so that's okay. Microsoft, towards yesterday at the close. This is like my third or fourth time in Microsoft this week. And listen, I get it, right? You coulda, woulda, shoulda held. No, you know, you can't expect a move to happen that fast. It's outside the standard deviation. So what ended up happening was we're getting in and out several times saying, hey, this might, you know, end up doing some more. And I was looking for the 309 target. And I have to say, Microsoft was my favorite trade this week. My worst trade was gold. I didn't see that up there, and I think it's because I bought gold the previous week. So my gold position, if you listened last week, went to a complete zero. I lost 500 bucks on that. I had five contracts, and my lesson there was I think on Wednesday it started to come back, and we were only about $1.20 out of the money. And the way that I was thinking was, guess what? If things are going to, these big names don't report well, maybe traders will start jumping into some sort of protection, maybe some gold. And so I held on and it kind of bit me on that particular trade. But overall, looking at this week, guys, I'm very, very happy on the way that I performed. I think I did really, really well. And, sometimes you take your worst trade, which would be gold, and my best trade being Microsoft. All right, so today, what happens today? Remember, we're getting into Microsoft yesterday, and today we open up, and Melissa has a plan to get into Oxy. She buys at 95 cents. I start trimming at 50, 60%, 50%. She's trimming her Oxy already at 7%, 15%, 23%, and 27%, and then she's stopped on a remaining position at 24. And then for me, guess what? HD comes alive once again, and we sell at 285. I'm out of the position. Microsoft, we have our runners, and boom, we make 170%. So again, my best trade was Microsoft. My worst trade was gold. Let's go ahead and see if we can look at those and just kind of go over them before we close this out. Let's go to Microsoft and what I saw. Okay, so here is Microsoft right here. All right. And I mean, basically, what we're looking at is it came down into a demand zone. Okay. Demand, meaning I want to buy it. It got above the clouds. I wanted to stay long. I started using targets, and those targets themselves started to come into existence. We hit them, we trimmed at major levels, we stayed above the cloud. And yesterday I said, you know what? As long as we could stay above here and we're creating this structure right here, I want to go towards 309.72. You guys can see on that 170%, I can't make this stuff up. I believe we sold right here at the very tippy top, and it's pulled back since then, but this was my target. So we got so close to target. Probably, it looks like probably about 65 cents or so away. So perfect trade, absolutely crushed it. We had a good time. Thank you for participating with us. Worst trade, let's go ahead and look at gold. What could I have done better? I mean, honestly, I could have just stuck to a stop percentage and said, hey, I want to get out, but I wanted to fill it out for a little bit. I wanted to see, if this thing could come back to life. We needed 187 and above is what we needed. It was a debit spread. It held my support level. I'm, I'm, I'm really feeling like what's going to happen is timing is the variable here. So to me, it's still super bullish as long as it's holding this level. Timing is the variable. How long will it take if, before it breaks out? Now, obviously it could break down, but for right now's case, it's holding the level that I wanted it to hold. It's just timing was not on my side and therefore it didn't work out. Overall this week, folks, looking at, everything we did, my biggest takeaway is that I want to be able to provide you guys the best service I can. So I'm always looking for feedback. I want to see what I can do that's better. I was profitable this week. Last week I was profitable, but unrealized I wasn't, meaning my long-term trades were not helping. They did start helping this week again, but I think we did really well. What would I want to work on? Well, we talked about allocation last week, and allocation for me this week, I think I stuck to where I wanted to be. I didn't want to be over 500. Now, I'll tell you, I came into this week thinking, yeah, I'm gonna go big. At least like up it up at least double of what I'm trading right now. And then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, with the big names reporting, not really where I want to be, and we're still in supply, so I'm going to take it easy. And so I traded somewhere between, 250 to 5, sometimes $100 if it was a lotto. But you know what? I made money. It was fun, and I even lost $500 on gold, and I still made money. So I'm happy about that. And again, if there's anything that I can do to help you guys out, please reach out to me. If there's something else you'd like me to review on this, please let me know as well. You can reach out to me at jonathan.mckeever@simplertrading.com. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks again for the awesome second week. I can't wait to get started with you next week. Be looking out for my broad market analysis coming soon to you on Sunday. Have a great day.